Joe Kohler?
If you talk to Julie, then
I talked to Julie.
Good evening and welcome to our regularly scheduled meeting of the City of Hartford Common Council. All proper notices were sent. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask if you would please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Roll call, Shannon.
The mayor and all alderpersons are present, except Alderperson Webb and Alderperson Kohler, who are absent and excused.
Thank you very much. We have before us a unanimous consent agenda.
Move for approval.
For approval, President Rusniak and Alderperson Curley, second.
Motion by Alderperson Rusniak, seconded by Alderperson Curley, approving the Common Council minutes of January 14th, 2025.
Any discussion, comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Communications, Shannon.
So we have a transient merchant license for Normandin Foods LLC, DBA Classic Euros. Stephen Normandin has applied for a food truck license. It's gone through planning and zoning, the fire department, and ourselves as well, and everything comes out okay. They will be at Gaiman's, so there'll be no interferences with any other businesses. And I believe Stephen is here.
He's here.
You can go up to the podium if they had any questions for you.
good evening.
State your name and business.
Stephen Normandin, Normandin Foods LLC, DBA.
It's on. I just heard it go on. Go ahead.
Stephen Normandin, Normandin Foods LLC, DBA Classic Euros.
Heroes?
Yes, yes, off of the vertical broiler, same meat as all of your favorite places. Yes.
Okay.
Did you bring samples?
Yeah, really.
We will be having training, and then that would be no problem to donate those excess to whichever would be available. So
Wonderful. Well, yes, gyros are of course always welcome. That's a wonderful thing. So you have the shawarma type of thing, and you're cutting away. Okay, beautiful. All righty.
Sound like you're an expert in here.
Per job.
Yeah.
Yes, the truck
Thank
is
you very
built.
much.
The truck is built brand new, all brand new equipment, all brand new truck, and as she mentioned, everything has gone through every imaginable process the last couple months to be able to get this approved.
Wonderful. Well, we sincerely look forward to you joining us in the city of Hartford.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So you can pick up your license tomorrow afternoon at the city administration window,
Awesome,
okay?
thank you.
Thank you. Appearances and citizen comments. Anybody from the city wishing to come up and make a comment or address the council, you are more than welcome to. Just state your name and address. You have 3 glorious minutes. Second request, third request. And seeing none, it is the mayor's report. I'm just hoping that everybody is holding on to their New Year's resolutions and is having a phenomenal new year. And we go to aldermanic requests, which President Rusniak starts.
One minor thing tonight, Steve or Jeff, the downtown clock by the river, the south side of the clock works fine. The north side of the clock is not working. Or maybe it's working twice a day, I think. I had to throw that in.
Yeah.
Either way, it needs repair, so our downtown clock's got to get repaired. One side is not working. They'll find out when they get there, I guess.
Yep. Thank you very much. Alderperson Reagan.
We get the same jokes down at the barber shop.
Yes,
Never mind.
yeah.
Move on.
Ba-dum-bum.
One thing tonight, Mayor, Alderman Wayne Rusnick, Dennis Hagee, and I attended the Mid-Moraine Municipal Association dinner meeting held last Wednesday, January 22nd at Regner Park, Beach House Community Room in West Bend. The speaker was Dan Anholt. The topic was issues that affect municipal funding for projects and services. He touched on several issues, but at the forefront was communicating a municipality's objectives effectively to the communities that they serve. A well-informed electorate is more likely to share in the vision and goals of that particular municipality, and doing that clearly and succinctly is a constant challenge we elected officials face. So it's good.
Thank you very much. Alderperson Curley.
Nothing this evening.
Alderperson Garza.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Alderperson Turchi.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Alderperson Savage.
Nothing tonight.
Alderperson Fulham.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. With that, we have standing committee reports, Finance and Personnel, Chairman Rusniak.
One item tonight, discussion and consideration approving a Class A intoxicating liquor license and Class A fermented malt beverage license, cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device. Retail license, weights and measures licensed, West Side Mart LLC, doing business as West Side Mart, 529 West Sumner. Shanna, change of ownership, right?
Yes, and at the time of the Finance and Personnel meeting, everything was fine and fully okay. At this point, we were notified by an alcohol wholesaler that the new business that wants to take, or that J&M, the prior business, the one that currently owns it right now, before it being transferred, is delinquent and currently has a hold on their account. So what I'm going to ask is that we approve the Class A intoxicating liquor license and Class A fermented malt beverage license, along with the cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device retail license and weights and measures. But the liquor license and the fermented malt beverage license, that is going to be held until that account is no longer delinquent. So I will hold it, and I will not let him obtain it until he can return to me, till I get the prior owners and the liquor license, and it's all full, like, not delinquent anymore.
May I?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Just to have a clear shot at this, this is the Standard or Amoco station, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
West Side.
Okay, right,
And
West Side, yeah.
the person that's fully purchasing it is the agent, the registered agent of J&M, the one that currently holds it. So he is has a interest in the current business, so we think that that's a really good reason as well, which to hold it too.
Okay, no,
So this is standard, Ian's approved it, you would approve it, but I would hold it, like I said, until.
Okay, that's
everything
fine.
comes.
My question is it the person who's trying to own it that's delinquent, or the
The prior person.
prior owner?
Yeah.
Okay,
In which the current person who wants to buy it is the registered agent at the current owners.
okay. I just don't want to penalize too much the individual that is looking to buy it, because the thing, yes, go ahead, please. Oh, I'm sorry, that's your
Go ahead,
party.
Jeff, go ahead.
Sounds like a great idea to hold it. What happened, how long do you plan on holding it? And then after a period of time, could you bring it back to the council? Right, I mean, what's a reasonable period of time to hold it?
Ian's going to help us out.
Yeah, help me out, Ian, right?
Since I'm here, so if this was like somebody completely unrelated to this business purchasing, or, like buying the business, taking it over, it wouldn't necessarily be the same thing. Like Tom Masters is buying this business and completely unrelated to the old one, fine. Different discussion, but because it's the registered agent and it's the changeover, that's, there is a link between the two. As far as timing, like the transfers are always weird because you can't technically transfer a liquor license. What happens is we're issuing it contingent upon them surrendering the old one. And so if they surrender the old one, we just can't issue the new one until they pay. So they just functionally couldn't sell alcohol until they, are not delinquent anymore.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
And then ultimately, I guess the end of the road would be, they can't, J&M can't renew their liquor license at the end of the year unless they become current. So it's not like a 30-day thing, it's more of a, like, when, the end of June rolls around, they'll just fall off the rolls. And if nobody has purchased they haven't complied with the terms to get the new license, then it's just, they can't sell booze until they do. So, and at that point, they'll have to apply, it would have to roll over into a new year because it's now a new fiscal year for the liquor licensing.
So there's a ton of incentive for them to resolve
Yeah, and
this
it wasn't,
issue. Yeah.
I don't believe it was huge amounts of money, so
Yeah, I
theoretically, they
understand.
should be able to come current on it. It's not like it
Liquor
was
bills
50
have to
grand
be
or something.
paid upon demand or upon,
Yeah, by statute, you have to stay current on,
Right.
I think it's 15 and 30 days or something like that.
So how can they be delinquent? That just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, they fell behind, and then finally the wholesaler filed a notice that they were delinquent.
Dennis?
Have we talked to them? Are they gonna could get current?
You just got it.
I just got notified, like, today.
Are we gonna talk to him? I
When they
mean,
come in.
Yeah.
seems like a phone call would be easy enough.
Yeah, I think it was just timing, because it just came in today. It was a matter of like, oh, what do we do about this when it's being approved tonight? So yeah, I mean, of course, there's gonna be follow-up communication that says, hey, it's approved, except you have to do this.
Good.
Are the new owners there, or are they still operating with the old owners? Shannon, do you know?
So the new owner is in the area. I know he's heavily involved because he is a registered agent of the current place. So I mean,
Okay.
he should be well aware of what's going on. Had the notice that he's behind and everything else, so.
All right, any other questions or comments? Not, back to you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Okay, then we are looking at approving all of the items except for the hold on the Class A intoxicating liquor license and the fermented malt beverage license, which will be cleared upon Shanna finding out that everything is current. Is that that's basically what you're looking for?
So it's, yeah, there's gonna be it'll be approved, but I'm going to hold it.
Right, approved with a hold
Yes.
for the alcohol license. And I'd like to put the stipulation in, if I may, that the new owner, which I believe is the individual who's mostly at the counter most of the time, at least when
Yep.
I've talked to
Yep.
him. He works a lot of hours and he's excited about what he's doing. That he be contacted, I mean, like, right away.
Tomorrow,
So
yeah.
right, that would be wonderful, because I'm sure they'll jump on it, because, so it doesn't tie them up in a knot. Okay, looking for a motion to approve. Alderperson, go ahead.
A question, so we're approving this on contingency, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I just want to put that in the record?
Yeah, that's what I said. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
okay. Alderperson Turchi, Alderperson Savage.
It's basically the same as what is done for all liquor licenses, to be, that they're approved contingent upon, payment of any outstanding debts to the city.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. We pass Public Works and Utility and go right to resolutions. On item number 10, resolution number 3713, a resolution approving the preliminary plat of Fairway Meadows subdivision. We have an executive summary that we received, and with that, we have our city planner, Jacob Maas.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. So preliminary plat for Fairway Meadows, this is the properties that are in question. 3 of these are in the city of Hartford. It's along the west side here. And then these 2 parcels here on the east side are in the town of Hartford. Together, they make about 63.849 acres altogether. Once this is developed, it'll be about, of that 63 acres, approximately 25.21 acres will be developed. There is some complexity to this parcel. This is the floodplain, or not floodplain, this is the wetland map. So there are wetlands on this property that need to be addressed. Some of them are under the Army Corps of Engineers jurisdiction. So they're working through that process right now. That's a lengthier process than working with the DNR.
Where is it? Highway King.
So this is the golf course, Washington County Golf Course. East Sumner, 60 right here. North Pike Lake Drive, Aurora Medical Center's down here. And this is where the parcels are. These were annexed in 2021, these 3 parcels here. And again, these 2 parcels to the east would have to be annexed in prior to final plating.
With the Army Corps of Engineers, and you just mentioned that it's a longer process than the DNR, which kind of buckles my knees when I think about time. What are we looking at regarding a timeline?
They got an early jump on this,
Oh, good.
so they can take up to a year, whereas the DNR is not that lengthy.
Right.
But once you have jurisdictional determination by them, a wetland delineation only usually lasts 5 years. But when you have the U.S. Army Corps chime in, I believe it extends the life of the wetland delineation out to 17 years or something like that.
Well, you know, that an interesting number, 17 years. I think that's how long it took us to get our airport done. Wasn't that 17 years? That's
Could be,
Yeah, I'm just getting a little nervous, but is that something that the city can do to make sure it moves right along?
With the Army Corps, They're pretty much their own island, and it's really tough to communicate with them. The DNR we work with generally, but the Army Corps works with the DNR usually on this stuff more than the city.
We do not anticipate any snags.
We're not, no.
Okay. All righty. Fingers crossed.
Yep. And then there's also floodplain on this property along the, specifically the township parcels that are on the east side. And then this is the actual preliminary plat of the subdivision. It's sideways because the north arrow, I wanted pointing up to make sure it goes with kind of how it is geographically. So there's three distinct areas on the preliminary plat. The first one is the north end. Here we have, again, these are all single family. There's some elevation up in the very north end, and then it slumps down towards the floodplain and the wetlands to the south. This is the middle section. This is where we have some of our more dense development. Again, a lot of the dense development is occurring actually along the property line with the golf course. They're probably trying to maximize the value of the properties because they are adjacent to a golf course, and people want to live right next to a golf course, so why not maximize their lots? And then this is the southern end connecting to the subdivision to the south that is in the town of, or in the city of Hartford.
Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon,
Yeah,
correct.
right, Mount Vernon.
And this is kind of the preliminary point of the stormwater. Again, this all needs to be reviewed, but this is where they're proposing to put their stormwater ponds. Again, it's out of the floodplain. You can't put stormwater ponds in floodplain, and you can't put stormwater ponds in wetlands. So they're working with, they'll be working with our new city engineer, Chris Walters, to make sure that this all drains properly and that we don't have flooding issues with the abutting properties.
That's good. Go ahead, Wayne.
Jacob, what do we do? I noticed you got a comment in here. Although all the lots in the subdivision have been reviewed and approved, some lots contain soils which are unsuitable for conventional basement construction due to the presence of high seasonal groundwater. Special construction methods may be required. Is that the developer's problem? Is there any liability for the city? I mean, somebody's going to buy a lot and
Yep.
end up with two sump pumps in their basement.
Correct. Generally, they'll work with a geotechnical engineer to correct that and modify the soils. They'd work with the city engineer department to make sure that that was done appropriately.
Okay, so there's no liability on our part.
No.
Okay.
And again, in this packet, we have all the comments from the department heads. We're asking that with approval of the resolution that we approve Exhibit A, which is also the comments from all the department heads to be included with the resolution for approval so that that is documented for the developer.
Thank you. Alderperson Fulop.
Jacob, can you just clarify the ingress and egress? You've got that bottom and the middle feeder coming off of the Mount Vernon street access. Is that the singular access to that area?
Correct. For the midsection to the southern portion, that is all going into the Mount Vernon subdivision. And then the northern portion is going into the subdivision that's in the town of Hartford.
I don't know city rules, but do we have like choke points for fire? Do you have a max density of what you can have with a single ingress and egress?
That we do not have in our code. It does have to meet NFP, all the accesses have to meet NFPA standards to allow for development, and that's addressed in our comments from the fire department in Exhibit A.
Okay, and then the one up on top is coming off of an Ernst Drive feeder?
Yep.
Or how do I access that?
That's coming off of,
Yeah,
That's that horizontal that hits Ernst? I didn't,
probably. Yeah.
yep, it comes in,
and that's a singular feed as well, right?
correct, and then it goes to the north to, is that Union County Trunk Highway R to the north there? If I
Got it.
recall correctly.
No other questions, Mayor, thank you.
You bet. Alderperson Turchi.
It's good to see that this property is starting to get developed. It's been in process for a long time, so, yeah, it's good to see that progress is being made with this potential subdivision.
Anybody else? If not, would look for a motion to approve. We got Alderperson Turchi, seconded by Alderperson Garza.
Motion by Alderperson Turchi, seconded by Alderperson Garza for the adoption of proposed resolution number 3713 with Exhibit A.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. And now we go to the ordinances. We have several first readings, the first reading and possible action thereon. So we would have to suspend the rules if you choose to. Number one, ordinance 1502, an ordinance repealing Chapter 10 of the code entitled Height of Structures and Trees in the Vicinity of the Hartford Municipal Airport. Are you taking that, or is that?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, so-
I'm just asking, is there a reason that our airport director wouldn't be here too, or? I'm just curious
I'm sorry, why, what?
if our airport director wouldn't be here too. I was just surprised that he's
He has
not.
nothing to do with zoning.
Okay, even though it's the airport thing. Just wanted to
That's
make sure.
correct.
Okay, so this is purely a zoning thing.
Correct.
That's
Okay,
correct.
there we go.
Correct. So Chapter 10 is being repealed, and then the airport height elevation zoning is being incorporated into what will be item B below, which is Chapter 52, the new zoning code. So we're just, as part of the process here, with the adoption of Chapter 52, again, we're looking to repeal Chapter 10 because of its inclusion to Chapter 52, and because we're approving Chapter 52 tonight, we want both first and second reading suspension of the rules tonight.
Okay, thank you. So are we going to let this go and not ask for suspension of the rules? Is that what we're saying?
Suspend the rules to pass it tonight, yes.
Oh, okay, fine. Then questions about what we're doing? Go ahead.
I was just going to move on.
Oh, move on the suspension. Okay, we have a motion to suspend. Do we have a second? Alderperson Garza?
Motion by Alderperson Curley, seconded by Alderperson Garza to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of proposed ordinance number 1502.
Thank you. For suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay, and now for passage of ordinance 1502.
So move.
So moved by Alderperson Regan, second by Alderperson Garza.
Motion by Alderperson Regan, seconded by Alderperson Garza for the adoption of proposed ordinance number 1502.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item number 11-2, which is ordinance number 1503, an ordinance repealing Chapter 14 of the code entitled Historic Preservation.
Correct. We do not use this current code we have this code in our current, it's not in the zoning ordinance, but it's a current ordinance in our city statutes. We do not enforce this historic preservation ordinance. We don't even have a historic preservation committee that is supposed to be under this section of ordinance. And we are also not a locally recognized government entity to oversee a historic district by the Wisconsin Historical Society. So at this point in time, there really is no point to have a Chapter 14. If somebody does come along and wants to create a historic district, again, then we are willing to move forward and recreate this chapter. But again, once you create one of these historic districts, you can never opt out. You're always in, and you can't petition out, or you can't. And when they designate the Wisconsin Historic Society designates the boundaries, you're in it no matter if you don't want to be in it. So I think right now it's the best interest of the city not to have this. We have our bid, which does a good job of maintaining our downtown anyway, which would probably be the only historic district that I can think of. We might have historic sites, and that's a whole different process, but for the most part, we don't need Chapter 14 at this time.
To remove any type of restrictions as to developing in that, I think in this particular environment, I think it's a great idea to take anything that could bar the growth of the city or complicate it and put it on the side if it's not being used at this time. Go ahead, Alderperson Turchi.
Move to suspend.
Okay, we have a motion to suspend by Alderperson Turchi, second by Alderperson Savage.
Motion by Alderperson Turchi, seconded by Alderperson Savage to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of proposed ordinance number 1503.
For suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. And for passage of this, Alderperson Turchi, Alderperson Curley.
Motion by Alderperson Turchi, seconded by Alderperson Curley for the adoption of proposed ordinance number 1503.
For adoption, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. We go to ordinance 1504. This is an ordinance creating Chapter 54 of the code entitled Signs. Okay, sounds like a TV special. Didn't they have a show called Signs? Never mind. Go ahead, please.
Signs everywhere, sign. So as part of the zoning code rewrite, we took the zoning, or the sign code out of the zoning code and created a separate chapter that reduces the amount of oversight from the zoning portion, the administrative portion of the zoning code, which is extensive. Variances for sign code would be tough, just because you can't prove a hardship with a sign. You want a sign, just because you want it doesn't make it a hardship. So this way, we can have a different appeal process for, or a variance process for signs. Also, our code was not compliant with Reed v. the Town of Gilbert, which was a U.S. Supreme Court decision, which pretty much made all signs, we can't regulate signs on content. So our previous sign code had content-based language in there, again, which would have been against the ruling by the United States Supreme Court. Also, we don't want to limit colors or anything like that. Again, that's kind of a freedom of expression, so we try to very much limit that. And it'll also take out the review for the bid portion. When signs come down to the bid, they'll no longer have to go in front of the Common Council or the Plan Commission, because again, we were approving them anyway, because again, we couldn't judge them on content or anything. We could make recommendations on color to help people visualize it better, but we could not make a condition that it had to be a certain color. So again, because of these issues that arose up, and to make the sign code more easy, more usable for businesses in the community, we're looking for this sign code to be created separate from the zoning code.
Thank you. What I was seeing in Ian, our city attorney, some of the things that came up under his predecessor as regards to signs, I'm very happy that we're taking care of this and making it align with what the Supreme Court is talking about and making it easier on the businesses. So, okay, anybody looking to move right away for suspension? Alderperson Turchi, Alderperson Fulop.
Motion by Alderperson Turchi, seconded by Alderperson Fulop to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of proposed ordinance number 1504.
For suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried, okay, and then to pass 1504, Alderperson Curley, Alderperson Garza.
Motion by Alderperson Curley, seconded by Alderperson Garza for the adoption of proposed ordinance number 1504.
For adoption, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried, thank you. And then we have a second reading on 11B, sub 1, ordinance number 1501, an ordinance repealing Chapter 13 and creating Chapter 52 of the code entitled zoning.
That's correct. So we had a presentation at the last Common Council meeting, going over the top 10 changes and stuff like that. We did talk about non-conforming stuff and making sure that we were identifying stuff. Some of the things we already have identified are, under the staff recommendations, amending Table 4, or Table 18-4 driveway standards, as well as Appendix C, the low-density mixed residential, from 1 to 2 accessory buildings, as well as R3 districts from 1 to 2, because again, if we did that, we'd have a lot of non-conforming properties in the city, because a lot of people have a garage and maybe a shed. So again, we're gonna come up to these. I think we're gonna have some stuff come up in March regarding attached garage percentages, just to make sure that we're still compliant with what we've been doing and that there's no future development issues. But again, we're looking for approval of this with the 2 changes that staff recommended, and that's about it.
Okay, I think that's pretty standard. Thank you very much with our city planner, Jacob Moss, doing a great job of clipping right through these. That was very nice of you, thank you. We don't have to suspend, this is just for the ordinance 1501 to pass. So Alderperson Savage, Alderperson Fulop.
Motion by Alderperson Savage, seconded by Alderperson Fulop for the adoption of proposed ordinance number 1501.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. You're free, you're free.
Thank you.
And the last part, the city administrator's report. This is discussion and consideration of approving the mayoral appointment of Proust Legal LLC as the official general counsel for the city of Hartford. And joining us is our official counsel, Ian Proust.
So again, the city was with O'Mara Law as a general legal counsel for many decades. O'Mara Law merged with Dahlberg Law in the late 2023. Our actual attorney we used for through these law firms was Ian Proust. Ian has since gone on his own and formed Proust Legal. We recently went out for RFP on general counsel services and found that for the to fit what we were using a general counsel service for, we could not find a better alternative than to stay with Ian. So basically, all this is doing is changing from the Dahlberg O'Mara to Proust Legal as the official general legal counsel for the city. Again, remember, come April, during the reorganization meeting, you will again appoint all of these different aspects to your, to the council and for future city use, so.
I did have a conversation with Ian. I'm fully in agreement with this, which is why I've moved forward. Ian's done a great job for the city, so I think why change as long as he's coming in cheap? Just kidding. Anything you'd like to say addressing the council, or?
Nope, just a move that we kind of needed to make to rebalance our lives, and we're still doing the same stuff, just trying to, have better control over schedule and everything like that. As some of you know, my wife is my paralegal, so, it works for us to go out on our own. It's truly Proust Legal because it's all Prousts at this point, for now at least. So yeah, we're kind of getting everything organized and working out of our house right now, but, looking at some office space, trying to get that ironed out, and looking forward to moving forward with continuing both here and in West Bend.
Super, thank you. Any comments, questions? Alderperson Fulop.
Yeah, this is just an appointment. There's no term or anything on this. Is that correct, Steve?
There is no what?
Term?
No. So again, every year you have to reappoint
Yeah.
at your reorganization meeting.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
there's a term on the fees, but
I'm good with you.
yeah, it's, anybody can fire the attorney at any time, so.
Okay.
Steve, you done?
That's it.
That's it.
So back to you.
Thank you very much. Alderperson Fulop, second by Alderperson Garza.
Motion by Alderperson Fulop, seconded by Alderperson Garza, approving the mayoral appointment of Proust Legal LLC as the official general counsel for the city of Hartford.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Way to go, Proust Legal. Okay, you bet. And for adjournment, Alderperson Savage, second by Alderperson Fulop.
Motion by Alderperson Savage, seconded by Alderperson Fulop to adjourn at 7:33 PM.
Again, for adjournment, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We stand adjourned.